girls. Okay, as promised, here's video 1. This one is for supplies. I just wanted to go over what you need to have from your own stash. You'll be receiving a packet in the mail with some prepped items that you need to do the layouts for all 4 pages. But from your own stash, you're going to need some scissors. We're going to be doing some fussy cutting, so just, a pair of scissors, whatever you like to use. You'll need to have some adhesive. So, you can use this one, will be really helpful, the one that I sent you. Maybe a glue stick would be really helpful for the doing on the back of paper that is detail oriented, unless you want to use a liquid glue, or you can use tape runner if you'd like. But I think if you have glue stick in this, you should be pretty good for most of the project items. You'll need your devotional stickers that were sent to you in the last packet, your notes from our first meeting. You're going to use those to write on page 4, and I'll let you see. So we're going to be doing this layout, and it has these pages that come up, and that's where you're going to write your thoughts for the questions that we answered. And you can, so you'll need something to write with, of course, and you'll need your notes. You'll also need some glue. You can use either a hot glue gun, or you can use, what I use is this art glitter glue. It dries really fast, and it dries clear. And so it looks white, so you can see where you're gluing, but then it dries clear. And I'll show you what we're using it for. We'll be using it to these little fans that we're making with our ribbon or fabric. We're going to just kind of pinch those folds together, and we're going to put some adhesive in between those little folds, and then some behind it to adhere it to our card. And then we're going to put just a dot behind each one of these little dots, a dot of glue. And so you need something that kind of dries fast and then that dries clear. So that's what I use. If you have a hot glue gun or another kind of glue that you like, then that will be fine too. So then you'll need some buttons, pearls, or dots. If you have some buttons that are colored and you think they'll go, one button could suffice here if you have a little button to decorate it. Or you could use, I'll try to include some dots from my stash. I just can't guarantee that they'll all match, because that's 4 cards for each of you. And that's, I just have, and there's three buttons per. So anyway, okay, also you will need some either liquid ink. This is what liquid ink looks like, if you have any, or some craft paint. And I'm looking at pink and gray. Those are the things that we're looking for to mix with your texture paste. When you put the texture paste on to make those bricks, it goes on white unless you mix a color ahead of time. Now, you can always just put them on and have them white, and then add color afterwards by using your markers or your ink pads. You just take that marker, for example, or that ink pad, you take the lid off, pardon me, and just rub a little bit onto your acetate paper or whatever, and then take your sponge and dip it in it and rub it over the top of the bricks, and it will stain it. So, but it's, it just depends on how you like to work. I like to see the color mixed in, and it's kind of easy for me to gauge, and whether it's going to be dark enough or light enough or whatever. And the craft paints are pretty cheap. This is just some acrylic paint that I have. It's gray. Whatever works. And then you'll need the ribbon that I mentioned, or your fabric from the devotional, and also a ruler. So this one's an 18-inch, my favorite ruler, but if you have a 12-inch, that's fine. it would be helpful if it has 1/8 of an inch broken down so that you can, measure pretty well. But that's what you need from your own stash. What you need from the packet, you'll see that it will include the paper to make, or the cardstock, I should say, to make this page 4. It'll be pre-scored for you. This is one piece of cardstock here, and it's scored in 2 spots with a piece of decorative paper that's attached there, and then there. And so you'd also need that little card from your stash as well. But anyway, so just so you know, these other items, I'll be using a paper trimmer to cut the cardstock. You won't need it because it will already be cut, but it's just so you know how it's done in case you want to duplicate the project in another paper. Score pedal and a bone folder. I use those to put the cardstock on, and this is called a score pedal. It has little indentations, and this is a ruler across the top. This is a 12 by 12. There you go. And so you can create cards. You can create, different things with paper, and where you need to score and have a nice clean fold. And to get that indentation, you can use the embossing tool or a bone folder. And I use both depending on what I'm making, but I'll be using those. You don't need to have them. Okay, just letting you know what I use to come up with it. Washi tape, and I bought this washi tape at Hobby Lobby. It was $19.99, but I got it on sale when they had the 40% off, because it's from Paper Studio, and they're always having their Paper Studio products on sale pretty regularly. So anyway, I used this one that says "Stand Firm in Your Faith," I believe, and I'll show you where I used it. Right across this pocket, and in this pocket, and then also at the top of this little prayer card on the little pull tab that takes it out of this pocket here. So you're not going to need to buy any unless you want to, because I am going to put a little strip on each of those pieces of pre-cut paper that will be in your packet. And that's just because it's not a lot that's required. May as well just put it on there and make it easier on you. But you would need to buy some if you're using different paper and you want to make it match. Okay, let's see. You'll also have index cards in your packets. I'll try to put some dots in there, but if you have some decorative buttons, that might be helpful. At a time, you would just need 4, small buttons, and they would be equivalent to 3 little dots, or pearls, or whatever you want to use. Okay, the decorative paper. These are the papers, I'll just show you, that we'll be having for our layouts. These are the papers that I purchased. I bought them when they were on sale, 34 cents per sheet, so I was able to get enough for all of us. That was not very much. So that's the decorative paper that you'll need, but it'll be in your packet. And then texture paste. So this is how Ranger texture paste. It's almost like it's like a paste, and you'll have some in your packet. I put some in a little jelly jar. I had a few little jelly jars, and I thought, well, I'll just put some in here, and you can mix your color in with it, and there'll be more than enough. And to mix it, you just take a couple of drops of paint, scoop out a little bit of the texture paste on a paper plate that's got the glossy finish or something like that, and a little bit of paint. Mix it up until it's the desired color that you want. So I would start with the gray and mix that up, spread it through. I would have some areas that maybe they don't all have to be the same exact likeness, because bricks often have, you know, some areas lighter, some darker, whatever, and you don't have to use gray if that's not the color you want. I used a gray on mine, and then I went back and sponged some areas darker, and then I put some pink on a sponge, and I sponged that, so I'd have some variation in the color, so it looked kind of natural. So you can see that. And then we'll have a brick stencil that you'll be using, and I'll send one in your packet as well. It may not be this one, but you'll get a stencil. It'll be bricks, and a palette knife. And there'll be a plastic palette knife in there. If you have a nicer one and you want to use that, you know, that's your prerogative. But that's basically everything you need for the project. And if you want to have some gloves because you don't like getting stuff on your hands, you can do that. It's up to you. Okay. So I'll see you in the next video.